Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the first episode of GMG Sports. I'm Ronnie J. With me today, I have Patrick Novosel, who I don't have a cool nickname for.
Fair.
And also with us, joining as a first-time guest, is Eric. He is also known as Bengalman09. He is friend and family of the show. Eric, how are you doing today?
Good. How's it going, fellas?
It is good.
Glad to have you on, man.
It is good. Gentlemen, we have
Pleasure
reached
to be here.
that magical time of the year. The magical time where everybody can forget about all their other problems and focus on this one problem, which is, why does my football team suck? and this gentleman is the first year that is not us.
That's right.
We are finally good.
Who's us? Who's us? What are you talking about?
We are all located in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are all Bengals fans, and we have all struggled the long struggle of being a Bengals fan. Yeah. And up until recently, it's been horrible, but it has been a lot of fun in this last year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This is a long time coming.
I'll tell you what, man.
The first GMG Sports episode is 4 years after we started this thing. And about 6 years ago, we were talking about doing a sports podcast, and it has finally come to fruition. And I'm excited.
It has finally happened.
Let's go.
This is our first episode of GMG Sports. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about our predictions for each division winner in the AFC and the NFC. We're going to talk about the top underdogs that we believe could make a splash in the playoffs, and also some of our top fantasy players, some players to look out for, also some players that we think might be clunkers, that might just have a bad fantasy year.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start it off with division winners. I think this is the most prestigious one.
All right.
So we're going to start with the AFC. I want to start first with the AFC North. Because why wouldn't we?
Right.
So for everybody at home, I'm going to read off everybody that's in the AFC North, I'm going to read off everybody that's in each division, and we'll go through who we think is going to win. And I'd like you guys also to give me a why after you pick. So in the AFC North, we know, without looking, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cleveland Browns. Eric, who's your division winner and
Cincinnati.
why?
I got to pick Cincinnati, and it's not because I've been a fan through the worst years. I think they have a good rap. I think they have good.
You might have to be a little louder though for us.
Yeah, is that?
I want you basically to scream.
No. Right, yeah. So I definitely I think that the Bengals have the best opportunity to win the AFC North. I think they'll be challenged by the Baltimore Ravens, but the biggest weakness last year for the Bengals was our offensive line, and they made a lot of changes in the offseason by bringing in like Ted Karras, Lyle Collins. They drafted some studs.
They did. I think they replaced 3 full-time offensive linemen.
Yeah,
from last year with pretty sizable players that look to be really good on paper.
Yeah, maybe 4. And this lineman they drafted in the 4th round, he's insane. He looks like he's going to be the starter over Jackson Carman, who they had anticipated to be one of the starters this year.
Patrick, what about you?
I got to go with the Bengals as well. I know the other team that's going to be in the hunt is the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be them too. The Browns and Steelers, they have no chance this year. It's not their year, but I believe it is the Bengals' year. They had one glaring issue, and that was the offensive line, and they had rebuilt that in an offseason. And so giving some extra time with Joe Burrow, who's super accurate, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Giving him an extra second in the pocket is going to do wonders for their route running. And you got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase, you got Hayden Hurst that's coming in as a tight end too. And believe that he's a little bit better than CJ Uzama. I really believe if Joe Burrow can make CJ Uzama look like a Pro Bowler, then what can he do with Hayden Hurst as long as he stays healthy? Their offense is going to be banging on all cylinders this year. Joe Mixon in the backfield, one of the best running backs in the NFL. This is going to be a high-powered offense, a very high-powered offense this year, and their defense is going to keep them in the game as well. They had a lot of lucky breaks last year. They got some lucky breaks. They had some great kicking. Money Mac has been unbelievable for them, especially last year, just kicking 50, 60-yard field goals in the clutch. Can they do it again this year? I believe they can. I don't think they're going to need those clutch situations as much as they did last year.
A lot of close games last year, yeah. Yeah,
very close games. I think that's going to be not as close this year. And I think the Bengals are going to come away with the division.
I hope that as well. My pick is the Bengals. I think it's one of those things where they were clearly the best team in the division last year. I say that now there could be Browns fans out there like, wait, the Browns beat the Bengals twice. Well, second time, I don't know if Joe Burrow was even in at all. So that doesn't really count very much, but they also beat the Ravens twice last year really bad.
By 40 points.
They beat them worse than I've ever seen the Bengals beat the Ravens, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But I picked the Bengals. I think they have the best overall roster. All biases aside, obviously I hope they win. This has been the most fun sports team in Cincinnati, probably in my whole life. I don't even think it's a question. It's been the most winning one. That's for sure. I don't count the 1990 Reds, by the way, because I was 3 years old. That doesn't count.
I was not alive.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody, consensus, Cincinnati Bengals winning the AFC North. We will now move to the AFC South.
Okay.
The four teams we have in the South. We have the Houston Texans, the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's start with Patrick this time.
All right. So the Indianapolis Colts, I think, are going to make a run this year. They got Matt Ryan under center this time, and he's finally out of underneath the Atlanta Falcons. I think he's going to make a resurgence. He's going to have another MVP type of year this year with the Falcons. He's got Jonathan Taylor as his running back. It's going to open up so many more lanes for the receivers. And just having those two back there, I think it's going to be the Colts this year. Titans right behind them, but I think the Colts are going to do it this year.
Yeah, this is the first year, by the way. I noticed I have another fantasy league that's not Dynasty, and we just do a redraft. So I look at the top, 100, 200, 300 players, whatever, when I'm drafting. Mm-hmm. And this is the first year that Taylor has been number one overall in fantasy. And I remember thinking to myself, man, what did he do last year? What did he do last year to have himself ranked over Christian McCaffrey, who I think has been number one for a few years running now? Yeah, I mean, he's electric.
He had 18 touchdowns last year.
He's just
and 1,800 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Eric, what do you think on this division?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be the Titans. I think the Colts have a very good opportunity to make a run. Like Pat had said, Matty Ice is at the helm now.
Matty Ice.
Yeah, they drafted Alec Pierce, amazing receiver out of the University of Cincinnati. They made a lot of changes. Players are healthy. Their defense is very underrated. So I think I'm thinking the Titans are going to take it. I think the Titans are going to take it, though. I just think Derrick Henry can't be stopped.
Unless you're the Bengals in the playoffs.
Unless you're the playoffs. Yeah, I can't argue with that one there. But ultimately, I think it's going to be the Titans.
If Derrick Henry can stay healthy, I mean, he only played 8 games last year, so if he can stay healthy, then they definitely have a shot at running for this division.
So do I in fantasy football. Yeah. So this was a tough one for me because I think roster wise, I think Tennessee has the best roster overall. They have a good defense. They have a good offense. I think it comes down to quarterback. I have always believed that Ryan Tannehill is just not the guy. He's just not the guy to put you on his back and carry you to the Super Bowl. He almost proved me wrong. I thought it was going to be a whole Trent Dilfer scenario with them this past year because it's not that I think Tannehill is bad. I don't think that he is much better than the average league quarterback. Yeah, he's an okay game manager, but yeah, he seems to throw a lot of interceptions when it matters. And it just as good as they were all year, the Titans in the playoffs, they just didn't really look that great. Honestly, they just, even when they played the Bengals, like Tannehill threw a couple of late interceptions, and that's a hard thing to overcome. So I actually picked the Colts as well. I think it's time for that division to turn over. I think the Colts, they've been on the cusp, I think, for the past few years. They haven't found their quarterback, and I don't know if Matt Ryan is that, but we do know that Matt Ryan is a pretty solid professional quarterback. So I think they've had Carson Wentz in the past, and he's a little bit of a mystery, but I agree. I'm going with the Colts as well in that division.
All right.
We'll move on to the AFC East. In the AFC East, it's a good one. We have the New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and the New England Patriots. 5 years ago, or was it 6 years ago, whatever it was, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
It'd be a no
on who won this division.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
It would be whoever Tom Brady's playing for. But now that he's out, Mac Jones is in New England. Whole different story. It almost feels a little bit up for grabs, but I will let you start, Eric.
Oh man, I am a huge fan of the Buffalo Bills. If I had to pick a team that wasn't Cincinnati to be like my favorite team, I would be choosing the Buffalo Bills. And when they have an absolutely electric quarterback to watch, Josh Allen,
Yeah, he is good.
it's exciting to watch them. It's exciting to watch their talent. It's exciting to see the big plays that come from that offense, and some even plays from defense. Some of the things that we were seeing in preseason with just how good their defense was outstanding.
They got the short end of the stick last year in the playoffs for sure.
They did.
Because of the rule. They didn't get a chance, and that was a disappointing ending to their run because it was pretty good.
I'm glad that the NFL took the circumstances into consideration when updating that rule, because it was just a shootout, and they lost. And
it could come down to whoever gets the ball next time. And
yeah. So I think it's the Bills. I think it's do we want to talk about the sleepers now or after we've gone over all the rankings?
We'll hit those up next after these.
Okay.
Or next after these.
Okay. Yeah, I have the Bills. I have the Bills winning the division.
All right, Patrick.
Yeah, same. Bills, I don't think it's a question. The Bills offense is great with Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. Their defense is like the best in the league. And I think a lot of their games, they're going to win like 30-10. They're going to be handedly winning a lot of games. I think there's no question. They're going to win 14 games this year, at least.
Short and sweet. I also choose the Bills. Based on the past couple of years, I don't know how anybody could pick anyone else from this division. I think Josh Allen is top 5 at the very least. I think an argument for top 3 or even top quarterback. To be fair, I think that kid is extremely talented, and he is a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
I always appreciate that about a quarterback. So there's two things, and I say this as a Cincinnati fan, where we have Joe Burrow, and he is seemingly unshakable. Like, he has the same look on his face no matter what the situation is. He's calm, doesn't show a ton of emotion, but Josh Allen does. And I always like that in a quarterback. You like to see him a little fired up, and then the opposite of that is, well, you want your quarterback to, be collected and everything. But No, I picked the Bills. The one thing I will mention in here is I do want to see what the Dolphins are going to do this year. I'm interested in it at least, just to see. There's a lot of playmakers out there. I just want to see what happens. Honestly, I don't know that Tua is that good or not. I don't think we really know if he's, going to be really good in the NFL or not. But it'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see. Maybe a deep sleeper like you were talking, Eric. I was thinking you were saying you were going to say the Miami Dolphins. But yeah, so clean sweep of the Bills there. I think everybody saw that one coming. Now another interesting one is the AFC West. This is a very interesting division, probably the best division in the AFC, honestly. We have the Las Vegas Raiders, the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Los Angeles Chargers. That's 4 pretty solid teams.
Yes.
I'm going to go first on this one. I actually chose the Broncos.
Wow.
I think Russell Wilson, it was a big part of that. The Broncos finally have a quarterback that can actually manage and win. And I think that's a big, big step for them. Like,
the quarterbacks in this division, all 4 teams have solid quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, this division is pretty stacked up. Like it's
Russell
ridiculous.
Wilson, Derek Carr, Pat Mahomes, and Justin Herbert.
I say the Broncos for this division, but honestly, I think any one of these teams could win this division. It is going to be a battle. All right, Pat.
Yeah.
Who did you pick?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think the Chargers. Yeah, I think Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in the NFL today. Stats wise, I think he is. I think he's going to put up some serious fantasy numbers this year.
He is good.
I don't think that Pat Mahomes, he lost Tyreek Hill. I don't think that with that speed, that loss, it's Pat Mahomes. He's going to make it work just like Tom Brady did. He makes players around him better. But I think with that deep threat gone, I think that's going to cost the Chiefs a game or two. And I think
it is a big time difference.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I know that in the past few years, Tyreek Hill he's maybe become a little bit of a diva, but that's what happens with every wide receiver when they get really good. I think it's just part of that. Like you have to be a diva if you're good, but he is really that good.
Yeah.
He really is faster than everybody else. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you think?
So we got a split decision here.
AFC West.
Yeah. So the Chiefs, I can't, even though they lost Tyreek Hill, they still have the best tight end in the league in Travis Kelce. They went up and picked up Juju Smith-Schuster. They still have
that's gonna be big
receivers like Mecole Hardman. They got a good running back tandem headed by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So
hopefully Sky Moore has a great year, whatever his name is.
Sky Moore, yeah, awesome rookie that the Chiefs picked up this year, and their defense. I mean, they got a really good team. I think the weakest part of their team is their defense, but I think the strengths that they have on offense is just, I think we'll see a lot of what we saw last year. It's just going to be shootouts with the Chiefs. Everyone they play, it's going to be offensive.
It's hard to win in the playoffs, man, when you don't have a defense, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But
all right,
yeah, I got
three different
Chiefs.
teams. How about
Wow.
that?
Yeah.
That's par for the course. I wouldn't
Right.
even blame somebody for picking the Raiders. I mean, like they made a playoff run. Like,
they have Devontae Adams now.
Yeah. I mean, they've only gotten better.
They made the playoffs last year with all the drama going on around the organization. And,
absolutely.
And the accidents and everything, and they still made the playoffs.
I really like Derek Carr, honestly. I mean,
I do as well.
Okay. Well, that concludes AFC. You guys ready to move over to NFC?
Let's do it.
Let's start with the NFC North. We got the Bears, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and Minnesota Vikings. I will let you go first, Eric.
We have to give this to the Packers. I mean, for me, there's just no other question.
You only say this because of one player, right?
Aaron Rodgers, yeah. two-time MVP, 2-time consecutive MVP. I think that there's a very easy conversation that he'll have it again this year. Just with, it's going to be tough because he's got a lot of new receivers, not a lot of big names. I think
already
their
complaining
number
to the
one
media.
receiver is Alan Lazard, and a lot of people don't know who that is. So there's going to be a lot of unsuspected recipients of passes from him, but I think Aaron Rodgers is just so good.
I think they'll get better as the year goes on, though, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what was it? Was it last year or the year before where the Packers had lost like 4 straight, and they were saying Aaron Rodgers was washed and all this stuff, and he ends up winning MVP. So,
yeah.
I think this is the Packers division, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
You think anybody's going to change that, Pat?
No, it's the Packers. I know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's one of the best. He's up there with Tom Brady as one of the best we're seeing of all time, and he's in the league today. It's great that we're seeing these types of quarterbacks in our lifetime. It's really cool. As much as I don't like Aaron Rodgers as a person, man, he's a general on the field. He knows he's. What was his stats last year as far as like interceptions? And did he throw less than 10 last year? I feel like it was something like that.
Yeah, he doesn't throw. That has changed largely late in his career, because early in his career, man, he would throw it out there. But he's honestly, you had said something about Justin Herbert being one of the most best quarterback. Like Aaron Rodgers, the talent level of Aaron Rodgers.
I'm looking at his stats last year. He had 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
That is a ridiculous stat.
It's unbelievable. What a guy out there.
And now he looks like Nicolas Cage from Con Air.
He's got that long hair, like with him being on the field, and Aaron Jones in the backfield. Their defense is like top 3 in the league. It's going to keep them in the games. It's going to be like I think they're going to win like 14 games, if not 15 games. They're going to This isn't not even. It's not like the what did we just go with, the NFC North? Which one? Or AFC South? Which one? Or AFC West?
Oh, that was the AFC
West, where all the teams are in there. Like I don't like the Vikings may have a shot here. They may. I
don't think the Packers would win that division.
They may get into the wild card, but the Packers are going to have a few games ahead of them. They're going to win 14, 15 games.
Every part of me wanted to pick the Vikings for this, with all the turmoil going on in Green Bay. But I think you could make a pretty good living out of betting on the better quarterback to win every time in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It is so crucial.
When you have him
somebody
for the 2-minute warning, want someone like that that's going to go down the field real fast.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers at 60 yards could probably throw the ball through a keyhole. I don't think anybody else in this division is going to do that. Justin Fields definitely is not going to do that. I don't even remember who the Lions quarterback is. It's a guy from the Rams.
Jared
Goff. Yeah, he can't do that.
Oh man,
he can't do that. Kirk Cousins is the next best quarterback, and I mean he's a solid quarterback and everything, but Aaron Rodgers is in a different tier.
I think Kirk Cousins would be close.
I'll do a clean sweep on the Packers.
Kirk Cousins last year. Listen to this stat: 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Kirk Cousins was good. They also had a pretty good running game and defense as well. Really, Kirk Cousins, like the situation that he's in, I think he is actually a good enough quarterback to make a good, like a solid playoff run. Like they have a good enough team for that. I think he's definitely a step above, some of these other quarterbacks. I mean, Kirk Cousins can let it fly.
Yeah.
So clean sweep on the Packers. Now we move to the NFC South. In the NFC South, we have the Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Baker Mayfields, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who's betting against him? That's what I want to know.
No, I mean it's the Bucs. This division is one of the most interesting divisions because I feel like every team's got like a quarterback that's either new for their team or they're newer for the team. Outside of Tom Brady, you can't really. They're going to win the division. This is just going to be interesting. Just this division right here.
I'd like to see the Saints are real interesting.
Saints are going to put something together this year.
They are real interesting, and I think the Panthers are going to be better than people think. I mean, I don't think like Baker Mayfield is a garbage quarterback or anything. Like, I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. He's better than they've had in a while.
Yeah,
I
definitely
think they
he's better
said
than
that
Sam Darnold.
the most interceptions thrown in the last 4 years, Baker Mayfield has the most.
Yeah, he's also, I mean, when I think back to Baker Mayfield, like playing for the Browns, I think of a Baker Mayfield scrambling for his life trying to make a play. And he's the kind of guy that will throw it into double coverage to try and make something happen.
All right. So Baker Mayfield, the last 4 years, has thrown 56 interceptions.
That's a bundle.
56.
Hey, let me ask you, Pat, have you tried throwing a football with a torn labrum? I'm just curious.
Oh, no.
Did you play an entire season?
Is that what was wrong
That's
with
what
Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, torn labrum last year. Yep.
I feel like if you're throwing that many interceptions, you should try another quarterback.
Try your other arm.
Yeah, I mean,
or Deshaun Watson. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I think we all probably have our opinions on that. No, I think Baker Mayfield is a fine quarterback. However, he's not going to take you to the playoffs.
I disagree.
He's not going to take you to the playoffs. Not that Carolina team. I can tell you that. I'd be willing to put down something on that one, but I actually don't mind Baker Mayfield, even though he played for the Browns, which is rare. So who do we have? You have the Bucks, Pat, Eric. Do you have the Bucks?
I do have the Bucks, but I think the Saints are interesting. I think the Saints will give them a run for their money. Healthy Jameis Winston. I mean, people forget the guy had over, because 2019 he had like 5,400 something odd yards and was it 50 touchdowns? His stat line was absolutely insane.
Is Jameis Winston a guy you want in the playoffs?
I mean, the only guy in this,
because it really all boils down to that.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy in this division that's won really consistently in the playoffs is Tom Brady. I mean, Marcus Mariota barely held a starting position. Jameis Winston.
Where is Mariota at? Is he in Atlanta?
Yeah, he's Atlanta's starter now.
He didn't even play when I don't know. I don't think he's the answer. I think he's like
I think he's a bridge to Desmond Ridder or whoever the next quarterback is that they'll be drafting.
Yeah. I'm also going with the Bucks. I don't think any of these teams have shown nothing close to being enough to dethrone Tom Brady. And it seems weird because as Tom Brady gets older, you think eventually it's not going to work, right? Like eventually he's going to look like a 40-something-year-old man out there, but I feel like he just keeps coming back and looking younger every year.
No, when he's in the pocket, he looks like a young buck. When he's out there scrambling, he looks like a 45-year-old guy out there.
If Tom Brady had a bad offensive line, they probably wouldn't win the division because Tom Brady looks like he has 2 cement blocks on his feet. It's like he can't go anywhere.
To be fair, Tom Brady looked like he was 45 when he was 22.
He looked older in the NFL.
He's always looked old in the pocket.
He looked older in the NFL Combine when he was a rookie than he looks right now. That is a real thing.
What do you guys think about him missing? What did he miss? The 11 days of camp, 11 consecutive days of camp. Did anyone ever find out what that was about, or is it just kind of a mystery?
I actually never read to find out what it was.
It was a case of a Tom Brady syndrome. They're like, you know what? You want 11 days off? You got it.
Here's 12.
He made it seem relatively serious.
Keep bringing in the hardware. We don't care how many days off you are.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no, I just think he's reached a stage in his career where he's older and he's established. There's really nobody that can question anything that he does. Like anywhere. And I think if you have a player like that, like Tom Brady, you let him do whatever he wants. Tom Brady's a better star than like Dennis Rodman when he did it. But like we all saw The Last Dance and Dennis Rodman, like Phil Jackson was smart enough to know like, hey, we still need this guy. Let's let him do what he's got to do.
Right.
And it's different. Like, it didn't used to be like that in sports. People were like, oh, I don't care what's going on. Get out there and play. But I mean, these guys have their own stuff, He's Tom Brady. He's probably doing a fashion shoot or something. I mean, I don't know.
Those Old Spice commercials.
As long as he's back for week 1, who cares where he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to be in mid-season form.
Exactly. So we got a clean sweep in the NFC South. The NFC East is pretty interesting. We got the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Football Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. Still sounds funny.
Yeah, Washington Commanders. Actually having a football name, a team name, sounds weird.
I did like the Washington football team better, honestly.
I did too.
Same.
I
wonder if they had
I don't-
T-shirts with that on it, like and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, like 20 years from now. Like, well, we were bad, but this part was cool. Pat, who are you picking for this division?
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles.
I think Jalen Hurts is fire. I think he's
exciting.
Very exciting quarterback,
Yeah,
like a Michael Vick, like a Pat Mahomes, where you just want to watch every single snap.
It has that feeling too, like almost like when Vick went back to the Eagles, like just a quarterback that can run like that. Like,
yes, so
different.
exciting. He can make a huge play out of nothing because of his scrambling ability. I mean, it's just like I look at it like it's Pat Mahomes back there. It's not a clone of Pat Mahomes because Pat Mahomes is on another level. But I think Jalen Hurts is up there as one of the most exciting quarterbacks to watch because it's a dual threat. He does not have the accuracy as Pat Mahomes does, and that's where he falters. But I think he's him and who's the running back for the Eagles?
Miles Sanders.
Is Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
I think they have two running backs there. I can't recall exactly who it is.
Yeah.
I agree with you though. He is exciting to watch. I mean, just at any second, a big play could break out. Like, not a lot of quarterbacks have that ability.
And they have AJ Brown now.
They have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Jalen Reagor, and now they have Zach Pascal, which is like one of the slot receivers out of Indianapolis.
He was huge in Indy.
He was always great in the slot. So I think they have a great offense. I'm not sure where their defense is, but I think the Eagles are going to win the divisions, but on their heels is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think that the Commanders or the Giants have a chance in this.
I would assume the Cowboys are probably like the actual betting favorites to win this division.
Yeah.
I don't know that to be fact, but I would assume they probably are betting favorites to win this division. Eric, who do you think is going to win?
I just really dislike this division. I don't like the quarterbacks. I don't like any of the teams in this division, except for maybe Taylor Heineke with the Commanders. But yeah, he's not going to start, unfortunately. So, but when I'm making a decision, I say it's going to be the Cowboys. New York, there's no chance they do it with Danny Dimes. I think Jalen Hurts is still a little too young.
Danny Dimes. I always love the quarterback names, especially when they're not like extremely accurate quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah. Throws dimes to the defense. And yeah, just the Commanders, they have a better defense. Nothing of mention really comes from their offense. So I think this is the Cowboys division as much disdain as I feel just saying
Isn't Carson Wentz playing for the Commanders now?
He is, yeah.
Is he going to be their starter?
Mr. Inconsistent. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he really is.
Which Wentz is going to show up for him?
Is it going to be the MVP style Wentz that played for the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl? Or
he was only a regular season MVP there, though. He didn't really. The playoffs was Nick Foles, I think, right?
Yeah, Nick Foles won the Super Bowl for him.
That shows how good of a team they had. Although Nick Foles was amazing, honestly.
He threw and caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah,
in the Super Bowl. Amazing.
I also picked the Eagles. I think this is going to be close, though. I think Dallas has a good team, like top to bottom. I think they have a great team. I don't know what it is about Dallas, but Dallas has the same thing, that same sort of Cleveland Browns thing for me, where they're just going to do the Cowboys things that when they mess up at the end, like they might be in the running all year, but then they're going to have a clunker at the end and just blow it. Like that's how the Cowboys have always felt to me. Like they can never get over that hump. They are supposed to have been really good, like the past 5 years. Like ever since Dak Prescott, really surfaced. Like they're supposed to be a good team and they disappoint every single year. And we know a lot about that in Cincinnati. Know a lot about that. But yeah, I picked the Eagles too. I think they are the new exciting team. Like they have something to prove, and Dallas is they have a little bit of a stagnant feel to me. Like just they've kind of been sitting atop of that division, but not really doing anything with it. So I picked the Philadelphia Eagles as well. Last, but certainly not least, is the NFC West. This is an interesting division too. So we got the San Francisco 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks. So we got the defending champs in here. Eric, who do you think?
I think the 49ers, I think they're gonna
They're
shock the
Jimmy G?
NFC West. No, he's gonna be the highest paid backup. It's Trey Lance's year, man. Yeah, they I guess they decided on keeping Jimmy Garoppolo for the year. I think maybe the alternative was going to like the Seahawks or something where he would just play against them.
I wouldn't be surprised though if a contender has a QB injury and goes after somebody like Garoppolo.
I agree.
Although me personally, I don't think Garoppolo is the guy. I don't think he's really. I mean, he's done a lot of regular season winning, but he's never done anything to prove to me that he's the guy.
Yeah. So I think the 49ers will take it. I think it's very easy to make an argument though that the Rams will take it too, just because of all the talent they have.
What?
We lost your audio, Ronnie.
Oh, I did lose my audio. They still have a lot of talent there though. With the Rams, they haven't lost a lot of talent since last year, and they have some of the biggest playmakers in the NFL all on one team. They have that superstar team feel to them still.
Yeah. I think the Rams are going to take it, but it's going to be close. It's saying the 49ers are going to take it. It's fair. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be coming down to like a divisional game kind of thing at the end of the year. The Rams, I think they took a step back on their offensive line, definitely on the defensive line with the loss of Von Miller. I think that Matt Stafford, I think with his elbow injury, I think that's going to linger throughout the regular season. It's going to affect him.
He's getting up there in QB years.
Yeah, and is he going to be able to last and be, in midseason form late in the season and then into the playoffs? Or is it going to affect him? I think it will. But
can you imagine also the career of Matt Stafford? Just the story of his career and playing for the Lions, who are just. I don't think I'm going out on a limb saying like they are one of the worst organizations in football.
Yeah. I don't think that. Do they not have a Super Bowl win?
I don't think they have one. I don't think
they haven't. They don't have
like 20 years or whatever. They have zero playoff wins.
No, they don't have a Super Bowl win. They won championships back in like the 50s. The Lions.
Yeah,
I remember last year I saw a clip of, I think it was the Rams playing the Lions or something, and it was before the game, and Stafford was walking around, of course, talking to all the Lions, all the guys that were still there.
Mm-hmm.
And this one guy's talking to him, and all you can see is Matthew Stafford say, "I know, man. You just gotta stay in it. I know how you feel." Like it's like, man, it's just bad there. Like it's just bad. With that being said, I also picked the Rams. I think they at least have one more year to win the division. They're gonna have to make a decision at quarterback soon, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt Stafford's gonna like play very long into his career. I don't know.
I think he's in like his 13th season.
But I think they are. I don't think he'll play long into like his older age. Some quarterbacks retire out, right around, late 30s. So, we'll see. But I think the Rams are still good enough to take that division. I am interested to see what the San Francisco 49ers do. I'd like to see what Trey Lance can do because you never know. You never know who's going to be really a good quarterback and who's not until they're out there. So
I feel like we kind of let it slip by us. Like Kyler Murray, who knows the year that guy will have? You know what I mean? Kyler Murray Once
There's just so
D-Hop
much
comes back after his
inconsistency.
suspension.
There's just so much inconsistency with that team as a whole.
Mhm.
It kind of scares me off of them. And I think they have talent. Like they definitely, I think they could beat anybody, at any given day. But
I think the loss of DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's suspended for like the first half of the year, something like that. So
6 games, I think.
6 games. So without him for 6 games, I mean, I think they're going to lose a couple of games there.
Yeah, my fantasy team's not even going to look right for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to suspend Aaron Donald for hitting the Bengals like 5th string tight end in the head with the helmet? Did you guys see that picture where Aaron Donald broke a helmet over someone else's helmet?
No, I didn't see that.
Sounds awesome though.
Man, let me see.
Sounds like Aaron Donald.
I mean, first of all, who made Aaron Donald that mad?
I think it's the guy that scored a touchdown in 87. What's his name? Ruggs or Riggs?
I honestly it's hard for me to watch preseason football because there's no stakes. There's nothing on the line. A loss means nothing. A win means nothing.
Tell that to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Preseason
funny
champions.
You say that, but no. What I actually I think I watched more preseason this year than I typically ever do. And I think the storylines of just the players I watched. I think it was. I can't remember what player did the interview, but I watched this player talking about how there's something to the effect of like, millions of players in the NFL or they play football throughout their lifetime, and there's only 1,696 players that make it to an NFL roster.
Yeah.
52 teams, right, or 53-man rosters, 32 teams, and it's something because football is such a part of our everyday lives, even in the off season. Really, you don't think about how the most elite of players are playing in the NFL, and some aren't. Like that guy from Dallas, the Kevontae Turpin, the guy that won the MVP for the USFL last year, and he was returning kicks for Dallas, and he got a 89-yard punt return and like a 98-yard kick return. Like a lot of people trying to make the 53-man roster. You're seeing like the passion come out. You're seeing crazy catches. So
I mean, for every single one of those players out there, like the stakes couldn't be any higher.
Yeah.
But my thing is with preseason, like just from sitting at home, there's no stakes. Like when you're watching a Bengals game and like nobody's on the field, what I mean? That like is in the starting rotation. Like I don't even want to watch a Bengals game. Like if Joe Burrow is not a quarterback, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Statistically, they don't exist.
Yeah. So we'll move on though. We'll move on to our top underdogs. Now, the way I set this up, I don't know how many teams you guys brought, but I took 2 underdogs from both conferences. So 2 teams from the AFC and 2 teams from the NFC. I'll start this one off with the AFC. We talked a little bit about the Dolphins, but the Dolphins are one of those underdog teams where you don't know. It's a similar, I don't want to say similar, but the Bengals were a team that nobody knew about last year. No, but nobody was picking to win anything. They were underdogs, and you just never know in the NFL what's going to happen. But the Dolphins, like they have so many exciting players that I feel like, if they put it together, like they could be a pretty powerful team. And then my last one from the AFC is the Raiders. It's weird that the Raiders would be considered an underdog because they made the playoffs last year, but in that division, they are an underdog. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's a team that they could definitely make a good playoff push. And they've only gotten better. I mean, Devontae Adams is the big one, but you guys have other ones from the AFC?
The only one I have for the AFC is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think if their defense is well, I think their wide receivers.
Let's go ahead and stop the show and get you out of here.
I think fired. Sorry, as a Cincinnati fan, I don't want it to happen. But I think if they have, Mitch Trubisky is underrated. I think with the wide receiver core that they have at Pittsburgh, I think he's going to flourish. And with a Kenny Pickett, on his heels, I think he's going to play better. Statistically, Mitch Trubisky is good. I mean, he was good with the Bears, and he didn't have anybody to throw to over there. And now he's got a wide receiver core and a tight end, and he's got a solid running back. I think offensively they're going to do fine. It's their defense is the question mark. They don't have a very good defense. It's one of the lowest rated in the AFC. And so if they can put together a solid defense, I think they can make a run for the division. That's the only underdog I have for the AFC.
What about you, Eric?
Oh, I hate that pick, Pat.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't pick anybody from the AFC West like Ronnie did.
Yeah.
They're not underdogs.
No, yeah. The Steelers, I definitely agree to the extent of some. I mean, they drafted George Pickens, he's just entertaining to watch as young as he is. One of my favorite receivers is his dad, growing up, Carl Pickens. It's like, now why do we have to have a Pickens that we can't root for? There's definitely a lot of talent there in Pittsburgh. I think Najee Harris is going to have a massive year. I don't know. I'm still torn on Mitch Trubisky. I'm not there with you on the Steelers, but I definitely think it's possible. Like you said, I mean, Mike Tomlin as a coach is amazing. So
yeah, I think Mitch Trubisky's. Like I said, he's with Pickett on his heels. I think he's going to do well. But then again, also I think he has a short leash. After a few games, if he's not performing well, I think Pickett is in there and he's going to be in there for the rest of the season.
So I want to make a comment on that because you said something about Mike Tomlin and just being a fan on the couch. Is Tomlin good because he had Big Ben? We've really never seen Tomlin as a coach where he doesn't have a set Hall of Fame quarterback automatically penciled in. So that part question that is something that I would question is Tomlin good enough to win with somebody who's not Big Ben? Because he had a solid quarterback that was always there his entire coaching career in Pittsburgh. So it'll be interesting to see what happens without that, if they will be the same.
Yeah, I think for me, I think my underdogs or teams that I'm more excited than maybe others to watch out for is maybe a better way to say it. But I was just a huge fan of Sauce Gardner, UC cornerback who got drafted in the first round by the New York Jets. I think the Jets, they have a lot of really good young talent. Defensively, they have they just drafted Sauce Gardner, who saw this stat this morning that I hadn't mentioned to Pat, where it was Sauce Gardner wasn't even targeted the entire preseason. All the games that he played, he wasn't even targeted. I think, Zach Wilson, I think there's opportunity for him to succeed. Now they have Breece Hall, and they have, a lot of young talent with the receivers. I think the Jets have a chance. And then I think my other possible underdog, the Jaguars are going to get better eventually.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm honestly just most excited to watch the Jets play. I don't think the Jaguars have a chance. I was being facetious.
Yeah, one of these days, Jaguars might be good. One of these days.
Was it like Mark Brunell? They were still good? Is that
was the last time, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think a couple of Byron Leftwich years were like playoff contenders.
I mean, Blake Bortles took them to the playoffs. If we want to,
Blake
Bortles.
Man, they've had an all-star lineup there, quarterback. No, I kind of agree with that. I think they have gotten better. It's really just about quarterback and how he develops. If he continues to develop, I think they really could be something in the future. But With the Jets, I am interested to see what the Jets do. It is a team that I think could be like pretty exciting. But they're the Jets. They're the Jets, though. That's one of those things. It's like the Browns. Like, yeah, but they're the Jets. You know.
So every time you think of the Jets, do you think of the butt fumble?
Honestly, that was the best Jets. Also, the butt fumble was like the primetime Jets. You know what I mean? Like that's the best they've been in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Mark Sanchez is the best quarterback they've had. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see. I am interested to watch how that goes because that is a young team, very young team.
I've been biting my tongue right now. I think the Jets are. There's no chance they win 6 games this year. Absolutely no chance. I think with Zach Wilson, injured, I really think that he's really hurt his ankle. He's going to be out for several games. Joe Flacco coming in at 38 or however old he is. I think Breece Hall, I think being on the Jets, being drafted to the Jets, it used to be like where you'd be drafted by the Bengals. You're like, well, there goes my career.
There goes my career.
And so with Breece Hall going to the Jets, I feel like they don't have that good of an offensive line to make him one of the top running backs. I know he's a rookie. He's coming in. He's a big name out there. I think if he would have landed on any other team in the NFL, I think he would have done much better. A couple hundred more yards than what he's going to get with the Jets. I think with the Mekhi, whatever his that Mekhi Becton, with him out for the big huge name out for another year, I think that's going to be a huge hit for the defensive line for the Jets. It's unfortunate. I think this isn't the year for the Jets. I think next year that might be a better sleeper pick.
They get a little healthy.
But the way, Eric, the way you said it, the teams to look out for, I think it's going to be interesting to how they put it all together. But I don't think
there's a chance they make a playoff push or anything like that. But yeah, I think they're going to be a team to look out for here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. All right, what about the NFC? Pat, I'll let you go first in the NFC.
Okay. Let me get to the NFC teams here, and.
If you want me to start, I can throw one out there.
Yeah, go ahead and start then so I can get in there.
Saints. The New Orleans Jameis Winstons. I actually don't think Jameis Winston is that bad of a quarterback. I think he may be a moron sometimes. When it comes to the media, I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of his interviews, but they're all hilarious. There was one interview where he's like, it always makes me think of the most important thing my coach ever taught me. And he's like, well, I can't remember what that is right now, but you just got to go out there and give 110%. He just set it up and then forgot whatever he was going to say. But no, he is extremely talented. They have a cool, young team. I'll be excited to watch and see what they can put together.
They have some good young players, and they have some good young players, and they have some good older players. I mean, Michael Thomas is back this year, and people forget he was a stud. He was an absolute stud a couple years back. It's kind of like the Buccaneers and having Julio. It's like no one's talking about Julio Jones anymore, but just 3 years ago, he was the best receiver in the league.
Tom Brady just likes them to catch the ball. They don't have to be fast.
Yeah, exactly. They've never had to be fast. Just catch it. I think the fastest was probably Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is like a cheat code in real life.
still is. Everyone still calls it getting.
He'd probably go out there and he'd probably still go out there and do better than some of these guys.
Oh man,
getting mossed.
Yeah. So for me, I'll go next with the underdogs. Pat, did you have any more? Or was it just the?
I have one NFC underdog.
Yeah,
and it's the Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
I think with the Baker Mayfield, new blood in there.
There's so many interesting storylines this year,
Yeah. If he's got Christian McCaffrey is lights out. He's never had a running back.
He's never had somebody to dump down like that.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah, you
They
think
didn't
Kareem
utilize
Hunt
he didn't utilize him the way he was. Plus,
But
Kareem Hunt was bad off the field, which kept him off the field.
Mm.
and I think it's also fair to say you can't compare the two of them with the body of work that Christian McCaffrey has put together. Like Kareem Hunt has shown, that he could be really good, but Christian McCaffrey, man,
He's
like
a bad seed. I think he's a bad seed. And
if you could create a running back in a lab, I mean, other than Derrick Henry that could catch the ball, like Christian McCaffrey would probably be your guy.
And I think Baker Mayfield has a much better offensive line in Carolina than he ever did with the Browns. So just exciting.
I don't ever remember him throwing out of the pocket. Not even one time.
Always on the run. It was. They hiked it to him outside the numbers. That's how far he was.
Sprinting to the sidelines, running away.
Yeah, I think that's really. Eric, you say the Jets will be interesting to watch. I think the Panthers are going to be one interesting team to watch.
I kind of want to see Baker Mayfield do good. Honestly, it's a weird thing that I'm kind of pulling for him, but like honestly, like. Especially with everything that's happened lately, like I despise the Browns as an organization.
I think disrespected him.
I think they're horrible, and they did him wrong.
They did him so wrong.
They did him very wrong, and I hope that he has success. Just not against the Bengals. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Right, Eric, what about you? What are yours?
Yeah, I like both the Panthers and the Saints. I would say for me, my underdog is going to be the Saints, or the team to look out for. I'm just, I don't know. Ever since Jameis Winston left Tampa Bay for Tom Brady, I mean, I was just, I kind of like starstruck with just anyone that can throw 50 touchdowns like as easily as made it look. Now I think he threw 50 interceptions that year.
I think if there was a long throw contest, Jameis Winston would probably be
he's
top
up
3.
there behind Josh
he can
Allen.
Hurl the ball.
Yeah. No, I like Jameis Winston. I'm a huge Andy Dalton fan, but I don't think he'll see more than what he's seen in the preseason.
I wonder how many times people have ever said, "I'm a huge Andy Dalton fan." How many times that's ever come out?
It's more so obviously for his tenure here in Cincinnati, but
he took a bad rap while he was here, but it
did.
wasn't the worst of times, that's for sure. It was worse before him.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jeff Blake, how talented was he just to get all of it wasted?
Yeah.
I mean, the Bengals took what was it? They took Jeff Blake over Donovan McNabb. Think about that.
That's the thing, though. You just
Jeff
never
Blake
know
over,
in college, man.
Or no, what was his name?
Where did Patrick Mahomes go in the draft? Do we know?
In the first round. He was.
Was there anybody taken above Patrick Mahomes? For some reason, I feel like there was, but I can't remember. That's the thing, though. You never know, like until they get out there, like what, how somebody's going to react in that environment.
So in the 2017 draft, the first overall QB was Mitch Trubisky. That was at number 2. And then at number 10, Kansas City took Pat Mahomes.
Yep. I didn't think that he was the first one taken.
Deshaun Watson was at number 12.
Yeah, see, I always think of Deshaun Watson as being so much older than that. Like, I feel like he's been in the league for 10 years.
And then all the way in the second round, Deshaun Kaiser. Wow, it fell off.
Yeah, apparently that was it.
Yeah. Was it Kaiser went to Green Bay? Is that where he went?
He went to the Browns.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
One of the Browns' 40 quarterbacks in the last 15 years.
Yeah. It really drops off in 2017.
The Browns
Davis
had
Webb,
quite a carousel.
C.J. Beathard, Joshua Dobbs, Nathan Peterman, Brad Kaya, and Chad Kelly. So those were not a very good QB draft class that year.
Chad Kelly, he was the guy from Ole Miss who was like the partier. Chad Kelly I think he was the very last quarterback drafted, maybe even the very last pick in the draft.
He was drafted 253rd overall.
So
is that
two
Mr.
more
Irrelevant?
Mr. Irrelevant's 255. So he was
okay, all right, yeah.
So he played 1 game.
for Denver in 2018. He did. Did he pass the ball? I can't find any passing stats.
He handed the ball off.
He had
Awesome hander offer.
One rush for negative 1 yard that year.
He nailed it. That was it.
He might have.
All right, so I think we're probably coming up on an hour. So I think we'll change the last segment that we had planned. This is fantasy players to watch out for. So I think we should all give one player. We'll take inventory of this and then see how good we are at the end of the year.
Do we want to do one player each position, or do we want to do one player?
I think one player who to watch
that's really
out for.
tough.
You
Well,
can
so
take that
are we-
how you want it.
So can we pick like, look out for Josh Allen?
No.
Or are we looking at for like,
No.
look out
for the best quarterback in the NFL.
look out for Jonathan Taylor. Look out.
You better look
He
out,
might
man.
be good this year.
Let's say no, it obviously can't be like the top tier of each position. You know what? Do whatever you want with it. I don't know why. Like I'm trying to assign rules to this. Like just give me whatever you want.
What are you doing?
I don't even know who I
All
am
of
right
these
now.
rules. It's my first time here.
Top player to look out for, and I'm going to go first.
Oh, okay.
Top
All right.
player to look out for.
Mine is AJ Dillon, the backup
A.J.
running
Dillon.
back in Green Bay behind Aaron Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Surely you
so
have a reason.
the reason I have this is
Yeah.
AJ Dillon has looked like a really good running back. However, Aaron Jones is in front of him. Aaron Jones gets injured a lot. I don't know if some players, they just seem to get nicked up more than others and miss games. Aaron Jones misses games, it seems like, every season. So I think there is an injury away from AJ Dillon being a top 10 running back in fantasy football. Who
All
wants to go next?
I'll go with one, and it's Sammy Watkins going to Green Bay.
Sammy Watkins, the ghost of
he
Sammy
is-
Watkins.
He is
man.
being thrown to by Aaron Rodgers, and if there is a injury that occurs that puts him on the field for a majority of the snaps, I think he's going to be what he was when he was with Buffalo, his first or second year. I think if only if there's an injury, because he's right now, I think he's at the fourth wide receiver in the depth chart.
Also seemingly made out of glass.
Yeah, if he stays
Yeah.
healthy. I mean, like,
man.
I think last year he played 13 games. He is injury prone. He's been injury prone his entire career outside of his first season.
And in all honesty, like, he is an incredible talent. Like, that level of talent, like, is very rare to come across in the NFL. Talent of like a Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
He's just been so injury prone. That's
Right.
just been his issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, who you got?
Eric?
Yeah. I would love to see that Rams wide receiver who
Cooper Kupp?
led. No. The guy that had the most receiving yards this preseason. The guy that kept outplaying.
Did you
the
just
Bengals
bring a
cornerbacks.
player and you don't even have his name?
Lance McCutcheon.
Okay.
Lance McCutcheon is his name. It was a long
Lance
lead up.
McCutcheon.
Yeah, I don't even know if he'll make the 53-man roster.
That was a deep
But-
sleeper.
He's a deep sleeper. So this is the deep 14-man dynasty league
That's weird.
guys that we look for. No, but
Is that who you picked up already?
No, not yet. I want to see him make the 53-man roster.
For the people listening that don't know, we all are in a fantasy football league. We've been in it for years now. It's a dynasty league with 14 teams where we have 25-man rosters, and every year we cut down to 20 and we have a 5-round rookie draft.
And every year I make a bad decision in the draft.
Eric has
This
a bad
year
history of
is
decisions.
not the year though. I took Brees Hall, and I said I will not mess this up.
There's no wonder you want to watch the Jets.
Yeah, no, but no, it's no. I think deep sleeper. I think young guys. I think Lance McCutcheon for the Rams. I think George Pickens is so fun to watch. Like the guy is just.
What's the deal with you guys and the Steelers today?
No, I hate
last
the
time we
Steelers.
ever
I
did
love
this.
Carl Pickens. Yeah,
Look at
last.
Kenny Pickett. Sticking with the Steelers. I mean, that's very interesting to see how
Mr.
that's
Fake Slide.
That's the only thing I'll ever remember about Kenny Pickett. Is that he fake slid. That's the most dishonorable move, I feel like. to absolutely
it was beautiful.
It was horrible. That's a horrible thing to do.
It was like all the trick plays they do on kickoffs where they're like in the balls like
but this one's exposing a safety rule.
I think they changed it
for your
already.
own gain. Like they're protecting you as a quarterback, and you're going to expose that very rule that protects you.
Yeah,
like he's not going to like that in the NFL. Like when he goes to dive and somebody cleans him out.
I mean, he plays for the Steelers. Let's not forget that. He plays for the Steelers. So
that's why they drafted him.
He kind of fits the bill, the scum of the earth. I'm just.
Also for the people listening, the funny thing is with us being Bengals fans, there are so many Steelers fans, so many AFC North fans all over the place. And honestly, the Steelers have been so good for so long that people are fans of them because they are a good football team. So even though I don't know that Kenny Pickett is the answer that they're looking for, but man, it's a good organization. Like if anybody's going to succeed in an organization, that's the one to do it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. We work with a couple people that are Steelers fans. So it's always fun hassling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially it's fun for us right now.
Not. Yeah. Until it's not.
I mean, we've been getting battered for 20 years. This is our time.
Yeah.
Right.
Every Pittsburgh team, it seems somehow.
So the last thing I will say, I do have one honorable mention. And the reason I didn't use them as my regular one is because Pat already alluded to it earlier in the show. And that's Hayden Hurst. I firmly believe that Hayden Hurst is a good tight end.
He is.
I think he is better than CJ Uzomah. I think he's more athletic, all around better. And I think if he does stay healthy with Joe Burrow, people are going to find out who Hayden Hurst is this year.
So do you think he's Tyler Eifert good? Like Tyler Eifert, 14 touchdowns or 13 touchdowns in 12 games, whatever it was?
So I think Tyler Eifert was really good, but I think a lot of it was Tyler Eifert exposing NFL teams for not covering certain things. Mm-hmm. And I think a part of that is why, Gronk was a freak of nature. However, Gronk exposed that down the seam, right down the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. That's where nobody's been covering. And he just exposed every team for that. And I think that Tyler Eifert largely did the same exact thing.
Yeah. And I think Joe Burrow is going to utilize him. I mean, Drew Sample. No, it's
Glenn.
Drew Sample. He's going to, if you see him in there, he's blocking. He's going to get 2 catches this year.
It's a running.
I actually read an article that Hayden Hurst was a decent blocker also, which surprised me because he seems like more of an athletic tight end.
Well, I mean, he's he's 6'4", 245. He's a big man.
That's like the standard.
We're
all these guys are monsters.
Yeah, 7 feet tall, 800 pounds. These guys are out there. That's what they look like when you stand next to them. Like, oh, this guy's a mammoth.
Yeah, you think like a quarterback's not big until you stand next to him. He's taller than you. You're like, wow, he looks like a little kid out there with the other guys.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's just outrageous.
You guys are monsters.
I went to Bengals training camp one year, and that was the first time in my life I really realized how big these humans are. Just standing there as they're all walking by, like all the offensive linemen, that's not even the same species as me. Like, there's no way. But yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up. That wraps up our first episode of GMG Sports. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have anything else they want to add before we go? Any hopes and dreams
for the NFL season to start? We have just about 1 week left.
Oh, that's true.
When this goes live, we're gonna have less than a week left.
Whoa!
Oh man!
Whoa!
Yes.
Excited.
I'm excited and nervous all at the same time because now I'm going to be watching with the expectation that the Bengals are going to win. So like it's going to be a whole nother vicious cycle that I get caught in. Like this past year took us by surprise. We're like, oh my God, they're winning. This is awesome. But now we're going to be like, I can't believe they're not winning. This is horrible. So now there's an expectation of winning, which is a whole different feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't follow what the rest decided to do and just purge.
Just be a bad organization, you mean?
Yeah, just purge everybody. Sell the team, Bob.
Yeah. They're not the Reds. They're this time they're in it. They're building.
Yeah, if you guys want to do a 1 hour show complaining about the Reds, I'm all for that.
I'm in.
I've been building material my entire life.
Where it's going to be a 6-part series.
We will burn Great American Ballpark to the ground.
We're basically arm's reach. So
absolutely.
No, I do want to thank you guys for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I enjoy these types of things, sports podcasts. It's really entertaining, and I've been a big fan of you guys' podcast from the very start. You guys know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the compliment either. It feels gross. But
for everybody for the people at home that don't know, Eric is my stepbrother. We grew up together.
Yeah.
So I can say, based on your performance tonight, we might bring you back on, but I'm not sure.
I'll have to see if I'm available.
No, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been fun, and this is one of those areas where with Lucas and Marc and Pat and I, we're kind of split on that. Lucas and Marc don't necessarily follow sports. It's really not really their thing, and I think the reason that Pat and I became such good friends is because of sports. There was the question in the interview. Pat asked me what I wanted to be, if I could be anything, and I was like, I think a professional baseball player. like why would I want to be something?
I shook his hand and said, "You're hired."
Yeah. So those guys, I mean, Lucas was going to come on and do a couple of picks, but he said he would just be picking based on color and stuff. So we'll have to force feed them a little bit of information so that they're here next year for this. But also want to thank both of you guys, everybody at home. Thanks for listening. If you want to reach us, you're gonna have to listen to another episode, and whatever Lucas says on how you could reach us is how you're going to reach us.
It's all in the show notes.
It's all in the show notes. That's all you need to know. It's all in the show notes.
So click that link and it'll take you places.
But for myself, Pat, Eric, I thank you guys all for listening. Honestly, I don't know Lucas's exit though. I thought I knew it going into this, but I faltered.
Make it your own. Figure it out.
May God guide and bless your lives as you live, as you work, and as you watch football.
Nice.